Hello everybody. Let's talk about immersive storytelling, 360 degree. My name is Dominik Baumann. I'm working as multimedia producer for the Swiss media group Blick. It's part of the Ringier Publishing Group, the largest publisher in Switzerland. Blick is a daily-based newspaper with a digital strategy. Let's see some of my 360 video work.
All aboard, please. We are taking you up Stoss Mountain on the steepest funicular railway in the world. While we are enjoying the splendid view of the picturesque Mottertal Valley scenery, the train whisks us up Stoss Mountain in less than 5 minutes. This record-breaking railway excites people far beyond the limits of this community, attracting visitors from around the world to the mountains of the canton of Schwyz. The railway's construction cost around $52 million.
Hello, my name is Erwin Müller. I am the production manager at Victorinox in Ibach, Switzerland. Let me show you how our famous Swiss Army knife is made. We get this high-quality stainless steel from our neighboring countries. We process 2,750 tons of it every year. In this furnace, the steel is heated to a temperature of 1,940 degrees Fahrenheit and then quickly cooled down. This process makes the parts very tough, increasing their durability.
Wir sind Vorderrück, Querlaglinie, Dicklinie, können schön aufstellen. Gitterlinie. Rauchlinie, top, top. Und jetzt geht's gehen. Querlag, reduzieren. Wieder ein Stück. Drehen. Drehen.
Before we talk about 360 video, I show you one difficult example of a 360 still image. That was a flight with the Swiss Air Force training team with the PC-17. They make flight shows with a training plane PC-7, and that's a little planet version of a 360 photo above the city of Zurich. That's the team, and they do air shows in Switzerland and in neighbor countries. And that was the display. I wanted to do a 360 image. It's two planes are flying like this, and the idea was to shoot the 360 out of the top plane. I show you how the image looks like. So the idea was to have really a high resolution image. You can zoom in and you see all the buildings. You see the plane below us. So how was this done? I was flying with the team on that plane upside down, was holding a system with a Canon camera with a Nikon, attached a Nikon lens, because Canon didn't provide a fisheye lens like this. And I put it on a panoramic head from Nodal Ninja, and the whole thing on a VR drive from a company Roundshot. And this system turns in 6 seconds 360 degrees and shoot 8 pictures. So that was then the output I got, 8 photographs. We were flying about 500 meters above ground with 360 kilometers per hour. Means between image 1 and 8 were 6 seconds difference. I stitched that in a PT GUI. The software works like it always compares 2 images and look points which are the same, like the same building and parts like this. And then that's then the final result, equirectangular format, 2 to 1. And the red lines are the stitching lines. I knew that will be my problems where I have to work on. So I went to Photoshop, and that's how it looks like. Out of PT GUI, I rendered it in layers. So I got 8 layers, and then I can work and mask on that layers. I show you one example where you see like what the problem was. Like here is this high-rise building, and when I turn off here the mask, you see it was like after stitching I had 2 high-rise buildings, but in real there is only 1. So I had to mask that building away. So there are other problems here you see on the left side with the train station. So I really had to go through all these stitching lines and to find problems. I got the help from Google Earth. I looked some I didn't know the whole city, so I looked on Google Earth to find out if I see some buildings missing. So, and then I masked like this. So that was quite a challenge. But in 2014, I started with a 360 video. The first 360 video I did with the fighter jet team, Patrouille Suisse from the Swiss Air Force. And the idea was to show the view of a pilot. And that was in the video. That video was one of the first 360 videos worldwide on YouTube. Got now already more than 11 million views. That was how I made it. I was flying in the fighter jet with holding this camera rig with 6 GoPro cameras. It's a Freedom 360 rig. By this time, it wasn't really on the market. So it was really early adapted, the 360 video. And it was quite a challenge. They fly like on a looping. You get like 6 G-forces. Means everything is 6 times as heavy as it is in real. Like your hand is 6 times more heavy. The camera also. So it was quite a challenge. But it was fun. I got then 6 movie files. I stitched that in an Autopano video by Color. As I said, by this time it really was everything brand new with 360 video. There were no immersive tools around like on After Effects or so. So I really had to do everything with this Color software. That was then the stitched image. But I used Premiere by this time for at least to cut the film together. But I couldn't move around or do any graphics in. I'm sorry, like the Immersive tool came about one year later out on the market. 2 years later, Blick started with virtual reality strategy. We made like on the website virtual reality menu. We announced a VR app, Blick VR, which looks like this. And since then, we publish about one 360 video per week. We do some by ourselves, and some we get from freelancers. There was a story I did this summer. It was on a steep cable car railway in the Swiss Alps. Here you see the camera up there in the steep mountain.
All aboard, please. We are taking you up Stoß Mountain on the steepest funicular railway in the world. As it takes us up the mountainside, it will reach a maximum gradient of 110%. The railway generally runs without staff on board. A staff member in the control room operates it, monitoring the train's journey via closed-circuit television. Specially constructed carriages ensure that the 4 cylindrical cabins automatically adapt to the incline. The floor remains flat throughout the journey. Reach the high plain, and the last part of the journey takes us across lovely alpine meadows. Here is a wonderful panoramic view of the mountains of central Switzerland. Right at the back we glimpse 2 famous mountains, Grosser and Kleiner Mücken. We have arrived at an elevation of 4,284 feet above sea level. And now enjoy the breathtaking 360-degree view.
So the 360 technique brings you like the advantage as a viewer to look around, but for producing it brings you also let's say not problems, it's difficult things like the tripod and shadow of the camera, and to remove that is not so easy because, as I say, you don't have this view out from the output of the stitched image. It looks like this. And the shadow is possible to remove here with After Effects, but the tripod itself is on the bottom, and that's for that you need special tools. And I show you one way. There are different ways how to remove a tripod. I show you one way I usually do in After Effects. So you have here this image. I go to the VR comp editor, make a 2D cut. And now you go to the camera and you can turn that around. Go to the stamp tool, double click, and then I can kind of remove it. And when you look at the equirectangular output, it looks like this. It's removed. Like before, it looks like this, and now you have it removed. And you can export that, and it's really, I mean, the whole movie, on the whole timeline, it's removed. When you look, yeah. So this immersive, I just go back one more time. So on the effects, I mean, there are several immersive tools I use quite often to work with the 360 view. And the last example was a 360 movie I did 2 weeks ago. There was a celebration of 70 years at Zurich International Airport. the display team, Battery Suisse, was flying a display up there for 20. The display was like for 20 minutes, so they had to shut down the airport for the commercial flights for security reasons for 20 minutes. And my idea was to show the view of the pilot and to have a speedometer in it to show how fast they were flying. So that was then.
Achtung, top. Level of jetzt. Wir sind
Here.
Querlage
Okay.
Klicke.
So here you have the speed. You see like 882 kilometers per hour.
Gitterklicke.
You can look around.
Top, top.
So you see the camera was mounted here. You see the mount.
Ordering. Rauch, top, top.
So I wasn't flying with the team this time.
Gerade da, Richter Wasserbuch. Die hintere Dreh. Rauch,
Can
Achtung,
zoom in.
top. Und jetzt geht's gehen. Querlage Millimeter. Bitte. Und jetzt geht's.
Okay. So how was it made with the speedometer? So as I say, the goal was to have the team, to show the team, to show the speed, and to have the radio talk on it. I shot it with a GoPro Fusion, and the output I got from the Fusion were like these two films. They have two SD cards, and it cut it in like 7-minute pieces. The whole flight was like 1 hour. It was about 15 minutes from the airbase to the airport, 20 minutes display, and 15 minutes back to the airbase. I had to find out which parts are from the air show, and then took always from the front and the back camera the two files out to stitch them. I used for stitching Mystica VR, and that was then the output. For the GPS data, I used this software here called Race Render. With the software, you add the file of the 360 movie, and then you have to add the front camera, because the GPS data is collecting from the front camera. So you have to add that. And now it asks, do you want to import also the GPS? Yes, I want to have this. But you see, there is now the front camera above it. So I just gonna delete the front camera because I don't need it. But when you see here, that's the data from the GPS data. And then I add the speedometer. So I have the speedometer in here, and then I have to add a shape. So I'm able to mask it out afterward. But now the shape is above the speedometer. I move it one time down, and then I create the video out of that. Then we go to Premiere, sorry. We go to Premiere, and I add my 360 video, just that part of the three which belongs to that GPS data I just made. Then I take the GPS data MP4 file, put it above, and let me see. Then I go and take the Ultra key above it, and with a pipette, oops, yeah, it's good. Oops, something is, yeah.
It's a projector issue.
Yes, it's okay. Actually, when you put it on the pipette, it should work. It's because of the projector, but it looks then like this. You mask it kind of away. You get the blue part away. Now you have that then on in the movie here. That's a cool feature of Premiere. This little icon here. You can get the immersive view. Let me see. Yeah. The problem is when you move around, it's flat. So what I'm doing, I put the effect plane to sphere. That's this one here, plane to sphere. And this one put the graphic into the spherical room. You see when I put it away. So it keeps in the spherical room even if you move around. Yes, that's it. If you have some questions, I will be around afterwards.